In this video, we will explain absolutely everything you need to know to travel to Croatia, the true pearl of the Adriatic Sea. This is the definitive guide and the most complete video you will watch today about the country that mixes medieval walled cities, ruins of the ancient Roman Empire, and a coastline indented by more than 1,000 islands with water so crystal clear that boats seem to float in the air. We will cover everything from the detailed logistics of how to rent a car to drive down the coast, how to use the ferries to hop from island to island, and what is the perfect strategy to visit the Plitvice lakes without being crushed by the crowds. We will also tell you about the vital requirement of mandatory travel insurance, since the country recently joined the European Free Movement Zone, and where to taste the traditional dish made under the earth. So let us get started. Croatia is a stunning country that offers the best of both worlds. Inland, you find a Central European atmosphere with monumental forests and waterfalls. On the coast, the climate is totally Mediterranean, with white limestone cities, fortresses that served as a setting for the Game of Thrones series, and a culture of enjoying life outdoors sitting in cafes by the sea. Now let us move on to logistics and planning. What is the best time to visit Croatia? The best time for those who want to focus on getting to know the cities going into the sea and paying fair prices is in late spring and early autumn, specifically the months of May, June, September, and October. The weather is wonderful, the sea water is already or still good for swimming, and you can walk along the city walls without melting. Summer in July and August is the absolute high season and the time for partying on yachts. It is very hot, thermometers easily past 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The pebble beaches are overcrowded with Europeans on vacation, and the prices for accommodation and ferries triple. If you go at this time, book everything almost a year in advance. Winter from November to March is the low season. It is quite cold, it rains more. And most importantly, many hotels, restaurants, and ferry lines on the islands close completely. The exception is the capital Zagreb, which comes alive with one of the best Christmas markets in all of Europe. And how many days to stay? If your focus is just getting to know the city of Dubrovnik in the south, 3 days are enough. But the great charm of Croatia is taking a road trip down the coast. To see the capital, the lakes, the ruins of Split Island like Hvar, and finish in Dubrovnik, calmly, the ideal itinerary requires 10 to 14 full days. Now, let us talk about transportation and how to get around the country. Unlike the rest of Europe, the train system in Croatia is very limited and does not serve the coast well. The absolute best way to explore Croatia is to rent a car. The roads are spectacular, especially the coastal highway called Magistrala, which skirts the Adriatic Sea with breathtaking views at every turn. To go from the mainland to the islands, you will use the ferries of the state company Jadrolinija, or the fast passenger catamarans. If you have a car and want to cross with it to an island, buy the ferry ticket in advance online and arrive in the port line at least an hour and a half before boarding in the high season. Intercity buses are the best economical alternative for those who do not want to drive, connecting all the main cities punctually and cheaply. Uber works super well in larger cities like Split and Dubrovnik. Staying in a good region will define the style of your trip. The strategy in Croatia is to do a hopping trip, changing bases every 2 or 3 days to go down the country from north to south. The first base is the capital Zagreb. Staying in the upper town, the Gornji Grad, or around the main square, puts you a few steps from the museums and the vibrant Austro-Hungarian architecture. The second base is the city of Split. It is the heart of the Dalmatia region. Staying inside or right next to the walls of Diocletian Palace is magical because you sleep inside a living Roman ruin full of bars and close to the ferry port. The third base is the island of Hvar. Hvar town is the focus of luxury and partying, perfect for young people. If you are looking for paradisiacal beaches and total silence for the family, stay in the neighboring village of Starigrad on the same island. The fourth base is Dubrovnik, the pearl of the Adriatic. The best experience is staying around the Pile Gate or in the Ploce region. Staying inside the walled old city is beautiful, but prepare to carry your bags up hundreds of stone steps because cars do not enter there. We created this personalized map that explains exactly which is the best city and region to build your base. Staying inside the walls in Split and Dubrovnik, you cannot go wrong. We will leave here on the screen code and in the video description the link to this exclusive map. We created them on the hotel site we always use, as it always has the best prices and reliable options. We will also leave links to the hotels we have already stayed at and approved. In all destinations, we always recommend one that is very cheap and super well located for those who want to save money, and another that is a little better in the same location but a little more expensive with more comfort. These are great options tested by us. An important tip to save on accommodation is the advanced strategy. Croatia has exploded for global tourism. Hotels with sea views or inside historic areas sell out months in advance, especially from June to September. That is why we really like using this site we indicated. In addition to having the lowest prices, it has free cancellation with almost all hotels. You can book as soon as possible to guarantee a much lower price, and if you need to cancel later due to any change of plans, it is super easy and at no cost. And remembering that in this link below, we always organize everything you need to set up your entire trip for the lowest price on a single page. The sites we use to build our trips, and that have everything much cheaper, such as the international cell phone chip to have internet on the car, Jeeps the travel insurance with discount, which is mandatory to enter Europe, tickets for the walls and national parks, good and cheap hotels we have already stayed at, and the global account to carry dollars paying lower fees. Save this page in your favorites. Now let us divide the country by regions and unmissable attractions, starting with the north and the interior. Your first stop should be the capital Zagreb. Walk through Banja Luka Square, ride the shortest funicular in the world, and visit the picturesque St. Mark Church, famous for its roof designed with colorful tiles. Driving down towards the coast, the mandatory stop and the greatest natural attraction of the country is the Plitvice Lakes National Park. It is an ecological sanctuary formed by 16 interconnected lakes at different levels by dozens of waterfalls and cascades. The water has an unbelievable emerald green color. You walk on wooden walkways suspended over the water. The golden tip is to arrive right at the opening of the gates at 7 in the morning to be able to enjoy the peace of the place before the excursion buses arrive, arriving in the center and the islands. The city of Split is a true open-air museum. The Roman Emperor Diocletian built his retirement palace there in the 4th century. Today, the ruins of the palace form the historic center. You walk through stone alleys, pass by ancient temples, and suddenly find shops and cafes operating inside the millennial walls. Walk in the late afternoon along the seaside promenade called Riva. From Split, take the ferry to the island of Hvar. Climb up to the Spanish fortress the Fortique to have a stunning panoramic view of the old town and the archipelago of the Pakleni Islands. Rent a small boat to navigate alone through the calm waters and discover secret white pebble beaches, exploring the south and the royalty. Dubrovnik is the most majestic fortified city in the Mediterranean Sea. Known worldwide as King Landing from the Game of Thrones series, the ultimate attraction is walking on top of the city walls which surround the entire old center for almost a mile and a half. The visual of the red roofs contrasting with the dark blue of the sea is a spectacle. Do this walk early in the morning or at the end of the day to escape the cruel sun and the crowd of cruise tourists. Walk along the main street called Straden, and then take the cable car that goes up the mountain right behind the city to watch the best sunset in the country. An important tip that will save you time and money is to buy tickets for attractions in advance. Entrance to the Plitvice Lakes has a strict scheduled time, and tickets sell out days before in the summer, just like the boat tours to the Blue Cave. We will leave in the screen code and in the description the link to the site where we always buy tickets and tours for the lowest price and with skip the line access very easily. Now let us move on to gastronomy. Croatian cuisine is a wonderful mix of Italian flavors, Eastern European, and a lot of freshness from the sea. The most traditional dish that you have a duty to try is the pika. It is not just a food, it is a preparation method. Veal, lamb, or octopus meats are placed with potatoes under a cast iron dome, covered by embers and baked slowly for hours. The meat falls apart. Because it takes a long time, you need to reserve this dish at the restaurant a day before. For quick snacks, the Balkan heritage is the sevapcici. They are small rolls of seasoned ground meat grilled and served inside a soft bread with lots of onions and a bell pepper cream called ajvar. It is cheap and delicious. On the coast, seafood reigns. Try the chiareni risotto, the famous black risotto, made with squid ink, squid pieces, and garlic, which stains your lips, but has an incredible taste of the sea. To drink, Croatia produces fantastic wines, especially in the Istria Peninsula and on the islands. Order the local white wine called Pozip to accompany the grilled fish. Quick and in-depth shopping tips. Did you know that the necktie was invented in Croatia? In the 17th century, Croatian mercenaries wore scarves tied around their necks that caught the attention of the French. In Zagreb and Dubrovnik, there are luxury stores of the Croata brand, which sell stunning and exclusive silk ties. It is the most classic gift. The island of Hvar is one of the largest lavender cultivation centers. In the city streets, you will find dozens of stalls selling scented sachets, essential oils, and handmade soaps for great prices. Also, take the opportunity to buy olive oil and truffle-based products which are abundant in Croatian forests and cost much less than in neighboring Italy. Mandatory documentation for international tourists and safety. Safety. Croatia is an extremely safe country. The people are very hospitable and violent crime is rare. In coastal cities very full of tourists, just have the common sense to take care of your bag in tight alleys because of casual pickpockets. Women traveling alone also report feeling very comfortable walking at night. An important health precaution is to use water shoes on the beaches because almost all are made of stones, and there is the presence of sea urchins in the shallow part. Visa Croatia recently adopted the euro as its official currency and is now part of the Schengen area. Most Western tourists do not need a visa for tourism to stay up to 90 days. Pay attention because Europe will implement the electronic travel form soon. Travel insurance. because Croatia is now a member of the Schengen Treaty. International travel insurance has become an obligation imposed by law at the borders. You must carry insurance with a minimum medical coverage of $30,000. If an emergency occurs, like twisting your foot on the Plitvice stones or needing medical care on the island's private costs are a fortune. We never travel without it, and in the link in the description, there is the comparator we always use to find the best coverage for half the price. If you liked this complete and deep guide about Croatia, like the video, and subscribe to our channel to travel more and better around the world. Thank you very much and have a safe trip.